Mr. President.
Hey.
Are you on the line?
I am on the line.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. It's Sarah Elamine. Lovely. We're so happy to have you. You're on the line with grassroots organizers across the country who've been working hard to help end gun violence and are incredibly grateful for your leadership on this issue. We're so excited
Well,
to hear from you.
everybody. Thanks everybody for joining me and joining us. I hear that we got quite a few folks on this call. So for all of you who've been out there, working so hard at a grassroots level, I couldn't be prouder of you and appreciative of what you're doing. Obviously, this week we have been pushing hard on mobilizing the country against gun violence. And most of the people on this phone call know the statistics. Every single year, more than 30,000 Americans have their lives cut short by guns. Suicides, domestic violence, gang shootouts, accidents. Too many Americans have lost brothers, sisters, most tragically, had to bury their own children. Many have had to learn to live with a disability or to live without the love of their life. The thing that I've been trying to communicate this week is that there is something we can do about this. That this is not inevitable, it's not normal. We are the only country with violence. We are not the only country with violence or dangerous people in it, but we are the only advanced country with this kind of frequent mass violence, and we cannot treat that as normal. It's a public health problem. We can't eliminate it entirely, but we can make real progress on it. And so on Tuesday, I outlined a series of common sense executive actions that I'm taking that are well within my legal authority to protect our neighborhoods from escalating gun violence. We're going to expand background checks to make sure that communities are safer, and we're going to invest in mental health access and boosting smart gun technologies. These are measures that the majority of gun owners and our partners in law enforcement support. And when I'm speaking, Valerie will walk you through these actions in more detail. But really what I want to talk to you about was just feeling a sense of urgency and possibility, feeling some sense of hope and momentum around what can be done. I'm going to take every action as I can as president, and every action I can take as citizen. I mentioned yesterday in an op-ed, I'm not going to campaign, support, or vote for any candidate, even in my own party, who doesn't support common sense gun reform. And if the 90% of Americans who support common sense gun reform join me, then people are going to start acting a little differently in Congress. So really what I want to do is to make sure that all of you are out there activated. This Tuesday, we're going to leave one seat empty in the First Lady's State of the Union guest box for victims of gun violence who no longer have a voice. Victims of crime, victims of mass shootings, people who've taken their own lives partly because they had such easy access to a weapon. We want them to be seen and understood, that their absence means something to this country. We want to tell their stories and honor their memory. And we want to support Americans whose lives have been forever changed by gun violence and remind every single one of our representatives that it's their responsibility to do something. But these kinds of important gestures only matter if it translates into action. So I'm relying on all of you to demand a Congress that's brave enough to stand up to the gun lobby's mischaracterizations and misrepresentations. I'm calling on all of you to demand governors and state legislatures to do their part to make our communities safer. I know that we have a lot of responsible gun owners on the line. I think it's very important for you to communicate how much this matters to you, and also to gun manufacturers and dealers, that they should get behind these things, that this is not contrary to the Second Amendment. All of us are going to just have to keep pushing this rock up the hill. And as I said last night at the town hall, these initiatives are not going to solve the entire problem. It's not going to eliminate evil from the world or crime or the poverty that we see in some communities. There are going to be disturbed, troubled people who commit acts of violence, and we're going to have to continue to work with law enforcement to bring down our overall crime rate. There's still going to be people who irresponsibly fail to store their guns properly, or in a fit of anger, commit an unspeakable crime. But in the same way that over the last 20, 30 years, we've been able to reduce the incidence of traffic fatalities, not by people stopping driving, not by taking away people's cars, but by simply applying some common sense standards to how we operate. We can do the same thing with guns. And if we cut the number of Americans who were killed by an act of gun violence from 30,000 to 29,000, those are 1,000 families who aren't having to go through the kind of grief that too many families go through. And that's well worth it. And that's part of our responsibility as citizens. So I'm counting on everybody to really stay active and stay hopeful that this can change. It's hard, but everything we do is hard, and we can't be deterred just because it's a little difficult. If the folks on this phone and the overwhelming majority of Americans who agree with us on this get behind it and send a clear message to the political system, it will ultimately change. All right? So I'm proud of you. Sarah, thank you for everything that you guys have done, and thanks to all the organizations who are involved. OFA folks, I'm always proud of you. I'm now going to turn this over to Valerie. She's going to go through the details of some of the things that we're going to be doing. Okay? Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Hello, everybody. Sarah, thanks for putting this call together. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Valerie.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be on. So as the President mentioned, his executive actions are designed to accomplish 4 goals. First, keep guns out of the hands through background checks. As the President made clear, no matter where you conduct your business, from a gun store to a gun show or over the internet, if you are in the business of selling firearms, you must obtain a license and conduct a background check on your customers. Second, make our community safer from gun violence. This includes hiring more agents, improving our tracking of illegal online firearms, ensuring the ATF is notified of lost or stolen guns, and improving domestic violence outreach efforts. Third, the President wants to increase mental health treatment and reporting to the background check system. Building on the Affordable Care Act investments in mental health care access, the President proposes $500 million in a new mental health spending fund. These steps are all critical because about 2/3 of the 30,000 people annually who die from gun violence take their own lives. And if we can improve our mental health systems and screening, we can potentially save a lot of lives. Lastly, the President intends to shape the future of gun safety technology. Today, too many people die because guns are stolen or accidentally discharged. So we're increasing the federal government's efforts to research and develop smart gun technology and make sure that the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security consider how to promote its use and acquisition. Together, these actions will make our community safer and keep more guns out of the hands of folks who shouldn't have them. They are just common sense. Now, as the President said last night, he can't do this alone. He needs all of you. Your country needs you. We need you to do what we know you do best. Organize, mobilize, bring your communities together around the simple goal of protecting all of our children from gun violence. Since President Obama first announced his candidacy for president on a cold, that is very cold, Illinois day in February of 2009, 7, nearly 9 years ago, our work has been built on the fundamental truth that lasting change does not come from Washington. It comes when millions of citizens mobilize and organize around causes bigger than themselves. It comes to Washington when the American people demand it. So thank you for everything you're doing. We're counting on you. We stand on your shoulders.